backtesting. There were some questions about backtesting, how to effectively backtest and whatnot. So the first thing is, the first backtesting, what people normally like to do is it's called dead backtesting. It's not a term, it's like a term I made up for my own understanding, right? So this is done when you look back in the history of the charts. The best way to do this is to look at the exact time period. So basically what dead backtesting is. Dead backtesting is when you're like, okay, you know what, I want to go back into the charts, let's say 4 or 5 months, and I'm going to go to the 2018 of, let's say, a pair called the GBJPY, right? So you're going to go back in 2018 and you're going to backtest the whole year. You know, that is dead backtesting. What that necessarily do is like the advantage of that backtesting is that you can backtest a big period of time in a small time frame. Like you can spend 1 hour or 2 hours in backtesting 4 or 5 months. You know, but what people don't understand is like when you're doing backtesting, dead backtesting, you're doing backtesting on a time when you will essentially be trading. You know, sometimes people say, okay, well, you know, I have this chart, this monthly chart, and I'm going to look at all these different consolidation zones. You know, so when you're looking at different consolidation zones, you're not really aware that when these consolidations will happen. Like let's say if you have a trading plan and your plan says that you're only going to trade 7 p.m. till 9 p.m. You know, so when you're looking back into the charts, you have to look at what happened at 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. That's it. You're not going above the time frame, you're not going below the time frame, you're sticking to that time. You know, this is the only disadvantage of that backtesting is that you're not being exposed to live markets as it's happening. You know, so it's like so when you trade demos, you know, when you trade demo accounts, you trade, you let it play out, you know, you're concerned about the stop loss, you're concerned about the drawdown, you're like, okay, whatever, what happens. You know, but when you're trading a live account, then you're really watching candles form. You're really making sure that price is going against you, or price is going in the direction of what's happening. So when you're doing dead backtesting, I would say only look at the time that you will be trading. Let's say I've been looking at US 30. You know, so the way how I backtest, I do live backtest. This is the most effective way to backtest, but it takes a long amount of time. So live backtesting is done when the market is moving. You spend your time on a specific instrument at the time you want to trade it, and you look for the patterns that work and that may not work. You know, this involves taking paper trades, mental notes. This doesn't take longer to backtest. Definitely it's the most effective and yields good results. So what's happening now is, for example, I'm backtesting US 30. You know, so I could do two things. One, I could go back into the past month, and then I could see that, okay, how did US 30 move between 6 a.m. to 9 a.m.? You know, I could do that. Or what I could do is I could do live backtesting. Live backtesting is like when I consciously sit at the market and I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to look at US 30 from 6:30 to 9:30 a.m. even in the morning, and that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the month. And for that month, I'm going to try to see that if I can really make sense of how it is. You know, what's happening now is that I'm taking paper trades. You know, in my mind, I'm saying that, okay, if price is breaking a zone on US 30, I want to see how many times is that going to continue. You know, or if it's breaking, let's say, a candle high, so I want to see what's the probability that's going to continue moving up if it's breaking the highs, or what's the probability it's going to continue moving down if it's breaking the lows. You know, and I'm constantly taking mental notes. You know, I'm trying to see that, okay, how many times is this going to work for me? Because I want to start trading US 30 in June, so I have to make sure that I'm on point. But if I'm doing dead backtesting, it's like I'm not really involving myself in the market. I'm not really involving myself with the volume in the market, with the way the candles are moving. Because, you know, sometimes candles can move really fast. You know, and when you're looking back at the chart, you don't really know how fast that candle is moving because it is already moving. But when you're doing live backtesting, you know, okay, shit, okay, this candle is moving really fast. It's moving really quick. Maybe at this time, US 30 has a lot of volume. So maybe now the next day, when I come back to the chart, I maybe want to look at US 30 at this certain time because, you know, let's say at New York Open or NYC Open or Premier, I have to see for myself that how much volume is there in that pair. I remember when I started to backtest GPJQR, GP CAD in 2018 October. So my good friend told me about GP CAD. He said, "Hey man, there's a lot of tips. It has a lot of, momentum. It has a lot of volume. Candles are really big. You can catch really big." So I'm like, okay, perfect. That's awesome. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch GP CAD for the next month. I sat and watched it.